Welcome back. All right, so we're up to number 6 in the countdown, and it is January 27th. It's early in the morning, January 27th when I'm recording this, just for purposes of, hey, when did you record this? So, team number 6 is the Carolina Hurricanes, and you'll notice that the Carolina Hurricanes, you're into territory where you're looking at a team that's been mostly good throughout the channel's existence, though there were a couple of rough seasons, and I remember predicting they'd make the playoffs, and then they didn't, and saying, oh, I guess Carolina's not going to make the playoffs. I don't think they've missed the playoffs since, so you're welcome. But yeah, they're number 6 on the overall list, and they're number 6 in points since 2017-2018 at a 632 points percentage. They've been number 1 on the board 3 of the last 4 seasons. They haven't been number 1 yet this year. Closest they get is number 3. And they've had some really good runs. You look at the overall number, the average comes out to 9.84. They've spent 76 weeks in the top row, 42 weeks in the second row, 33 weeks in the third row, and they've spent 6 weeks in the bottom row. So not a lot of time in the bottom row. I'm going to go ahead and speculate that would have been the first year I was doing power rankings where they were just kind of spinning their wheels. But they've been good for a while, and they've got certainty now in their location. At the time this channel started up, there was plenty of talk about how Carolina didn't support the team, yada, 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 all that stuff. And I haven't heard that lately because Carolina absolutely does support the team. One of the loudest buildings in the National Hockey League. Even the fact that I've said that means somebody's going to be typing it is the loudest building in the Hockey League, in the National Hockey League. But the most recent power rankings, they're 6th. And I don't have the board in front of me, but they may very well still be 6th when I do the power rankings tonight. So the top scorer over the period from 2017-18 until now, Sebastian Aho, 482 games, 211 goals, 262 assists, 473 points. Aho's very good. I may be understating things a little bit there, but he is. He's an excellent player, and honestly, he's going to be a Carolina Hurricane for a long time to come. In net, their top goaltender wins-wise, Freddie Anderson. And they've gone through a lot of goalies in the time of this channel's existence. Anderson, 60, 26, and 4 with a 914 save percentage. But of course, that brings us to the topic with Carolina that's uncomfortable right now, and that's goaltending. Kachetkov's hurt. We don't know when Freddie Anderson's coming back. We know he's progressing towards coming back. We don't have a timeline. Antti Ranta has been good at times, but mostly not great. And so there's questions, right? You pick up Spencer Martin on waivers. You're looking to keep things together in net, but you're also one of the top teams in the league, so you don't want to risk that costing you when you get to playoffs. And goaltending becomes a really key part of the game. Not that it's not a key part of the game to start with, but basically Carolina's been doing a really good job of suppressing shots against, and that's great for keeping the goals against down too. But the defensive style of hockey you're forced to play, it can really wear you down. So their last playoff appearance, of course, 2023. And conference finals are something they're familiar with over the last 5 years. They've made it to 2, 2019, and I believe it was just this last spring they made it to the conference final. The problem being that they can't win games in said conference final. Three straight trips to the conference final, no wins in them. So it's one thing that I've found curious about the Carolina Hurricanes over the past couple of years is that as the games get tougher and you're getting into the playoffs, their offense seems to dry up. And I don't know where you put the blame for that. And if it happens again this year, what do you do if you're Carolina? Because you have an excellent team. You've got a nice mix of veterans and youth, and you've got every part of your lineup looks pretty good. The goaltending is suspect. So in the event that they're not finding the goals, I mean, it could get ugly, right? If Antti Ranta's their starting goaltender in a conference final against Florida, let's just say it's Carolina, Florida, they meet again. And if they're not getting the kind of goaltending from Ranta they need, that game could get out of control very, very quickly, regardless of who has home ice advantage. That doesn't seem to necessarily matter once Carolina's goals dry up. So they need to get past that conference final. They need to be able to show that they can find that offense in those key moments. Because the other question that gets asked then is, okay, so you've got a team that's pretty good, that's been a playoff team for years in a row and set a franchise record. Hartford was never in the playoffs this many years in a row. And when Hartford was in the league, for a lot of it, there was 16 out of 21 teams that made the playoffs. And still, this run by Carolina's better. So by that measure, it's much more impressive. But how far can you can you go with one coach before you say, well, we might need to make a change? And I'm not saying Rod, but I'm saying that something in their coaching staff, some way that they're coaching, and we'll see. But of course, the one thing that makes that all go away is the Stanley Cup. And they are considered favorites for the Stanley Cup. I would not be entirely surprised if they won said Stanley Cup. Would you be surprised if they won said Stanley Cup? Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this regarding the Carolina Hurricanes. Because they've been near the top for a while. And I do expect every year that they'll be at or near the top of their division. But it really is about playoff success at this point. They may very well be in that region where a regular season's great, but what's going to happen in the playoffs? And if they lose, even if it's in the conference final, meaning winning 2 rounds first, but if that narrative continues, it's going to feel like it was a wasted year. So the pressure is on them. This is not a team that can just make the playoffs and be happy. And that's a good sign. It means that this is a healthy franchise on and off the ice. And hopefully at some point soon they win a Stanley Cup. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think they have a Stanley Cup win in their near future, or do you not? And let me know your thoughts about that. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you haven't done so already. I forgive you. Just go ahead and fix it. Thank you so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.